All right, Joellen. We're here on the grounds of the University of Memphis,
Yes.
Your playground, right?
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about cutting back ornamental grasses.
Yes.
My first question to you is, what kind of grass is this?
Oh, this is a beautiful a landscape grass called adagio.
Okay.
And this is a great time of year to cut grasses because, look, they're all dead and
Yeah.
they're starting to break up in the wind. So we want to get the foliage off of them before it starts greening up.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that you wear gloves for this, because if you take one of these grass blades
Oh, it
and
will
pull
cut.
against it, it's going to cut your finger because they're very sharp, and all of the grasses are like that.
Okay.
There are different levels of cutting. On smaller grasses, you can tie them up with a bungee cord and cut them down by hand. But for these large grasses, we're going to use these hedge shears. These happen to be gas. They've got a guard on them. And please follow all of the rules and regulations for using power equipment with these. Because these are old and established, they're much larger, so we're going to cut with those first. And I would like to introduce Sheila and Gerald. They're going to come in and they're going to demonstrate how we cut these grasses.
Okay.
This is very old. It started out as a 3-gallon container, and it has grown over the years. This place was planted in the early 90s, so this is fairly old grass. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to take off a little bit at a time, because you never know when you're going to come into green tissue, but we've had such cold weather that the tissue is probably pretty much gone. There won't be any green growing up in the plant. We taper the edges because when the new growth comes out, you won't see the old stalks coming out. They'll be inside the plant, so you won't see them. You take off a little bit of time because you can always take more off, but you can't put stuff back. So we're kind of trying to shape it, taking it down so that it's tapered at the edges and a little bit taller in the middle. We will leave the old growth so it'll decompose throughout the year, and it'll help add structure to the new growing grass and keep it nice and round like it is.
All right, Gerald. That's a good job, man.
It's a good job.
That's a good job. So, Joel, I'm going to ask you this, though. So how do you determine how low you want this to be cut back?
Well, we want to put it at an angle here because when the grass comes back out, then this taller, because it's a big grass, this is all one ornamental grass, the center older stalks will hold up the new growth, so it'll make it nice and round. And when we cut it closer down here at the edge, that's because you won't see the dead stalks then when the new growth comes out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
that's a great job. It all works, right?
Thank you all.
All right. So now we're going to look at some smaller ones?
Now we're going to go look at some smaller grasses and show you how to cut those with the bungee cord and some hand shears.
Hand shears. All right. All right, Joellen. So who do we have here?
This is heavy metal. But it's small. It's only been planted about a year and a half.
Wow, okay.
So this is what we can do when you have smaller grasses and not very many of them.
Okay.
You can either tie them up. I like to use a bungee cord.
How about that? You get around. You want me to pull it? All right. There we go. Hey.
And that just holds it for you.
How about that?
And I never cut clear to the ground. I always leave a little bit of space.
Oh, it makes it a lot easier when you hold it together like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little more. Yeah. Hey. we go. All comes out one piece.
Yes, in one piece, it's easier to dispose of this way.
How about that? So just a couple of questions.
Okay.
So the first one is, why do we prune them?
Well, they would just come back out and it would look terrible with half dead, half alive grass. It would look much better and all green if we have to take this down.
Okay.
Just like any perennial in a perennial garden. It's a
Got it.
perennial plant, so you have to take off the dead every spring.
Okay. And when is the best time to do that?
Late winter,
Late winter?
early spring, some nice weather comes out.
Nice day today.
It feels good to be outside. Everybody wants to get outside in the spring or in the winter, late winter, then that's the time to do it.
That's the time to do it. And look at that. All comes out again.
All
just
comes out in one piece.
So that works. All right. So look, somebody's probably wondering, do I need to fertilize? I mean, what do I need to do to make sure we get good, healthy growth?
Well, for one thing, I wouldn't fertilize anything that didn't have a soil test and it really needs it. But you know, if you fertilize it at all, it would be after it starts greening up.
Sure. Okay.
And it's warm enough outside.
And it's warm enough outside. All right. Thank you, Joellen. Appreciate that demonstration.
You're
Heavy
welcome.
metal, right?
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal. All right. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.